He's hamming.
All right, wild, right? I know, I thought the same thing. My phone was blowing up this morning at like 8 in the morning with everyone sending me links to this, and not less than like 30 people sent this to me like right off the bat. Now, what did you just witness? Well, what you just witnessed was a Gemballa Mirage GT, which is a modified Carrera GT, effectively a Carrera GT with a body kit and some performance modifications, just go on an absolute rampage on 11th Avenue in Manhattan. And let's just get right into it so you can see what happened, then we'll talk through it. But here's the videotape. First thing you're going to see is you're going to have the car coming southbound on 11th Avenue at 49th and 11th, which is where the Jeep dealership is, moving pretty good, loses the back end of the car, and then pow, right into the parked minivan. Cone goes up in the air, fluids all over the ground. Right there, that's a video in itself. That is, we could sit here and pick this apart for probably 5 minutes about what happened, the damage, the fact that that car got like shot put out of frame like it was nothing. I thought a parked car would be more of a structural mass and an imposing thing to hit, and that thing just got scattered away by a 2,900-pound car like it was nothing. But it gets crazier. And let's roll the tape and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Again. He's dragging the tire. The front tires are.
What is wrong with this dude? Yo, coming your way. Empty.
So you have the guy then back up and try to leave the scene. There's parts scattered all over the place. His car's like it just got in a fight. The wheels dragging, and he then blows through not one, but at least 2 red lights, probably 3 red lights because they're sequential. And he then goes down 48th Street, 47th Street, 46th Street, 45th Street, drives 5 blocks. Just, you hear the engine revving, and now it sounds phenomenal, don't get me wrong. But like, just pow, smashes into another car, and then comes to a rest. Since we're in this big pandemic phase, there's cops everywhere right now. There's National Guard out there. They're on the scene in a heartbeat. And that's where we're going to pick up this next clip, which is people now rushing to the scene. And you'll see clearly this is on the corner of 44th and 11th. So a full 5 blocks from where he started. 5 blocks is that's like more than a quarter of a mile. So imagine driving down a drag strip with the car like with one functional wheel. You see the cops around the car. This is where you saw the original clip. And you see the cop. Here, I don't know what this guy's doing. He starts the car. Like the cops is like waiting the car, and the guy like starts it, and the cop's like, where are you going? Like, you got one wheel in your car. Where, you going somewhere, and then some guy off screen, I don't know if it was a cop, National Guard, or just a general observer, was like, that guy's hammered. And that is a very fair reaction for somebody to have. This defied logic. I get like losing control of a Carrera GT and crashing. This defies logic for everything that takes place and transpires after that. And my first response was that guy must be on drugs, right? The news reports early on car was stolen. I'm like, it sounds sort of like Ben because he's crashed a bunch of cars. Didn't really believe it was stolen. The news reports got a bunch wrong early on. That always happens. But ultimately, this was just a absolute train wreck. And the police report now, believe it or not, this guy's out, no bail. Thank you to the lovely state of New York and their new bail reform law. There is no bail. But let me read you what the actual charges were. NYPD arrest report. On Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, that's today, approximately 0730, that is 7:30 this morning, officers responded to a motor vehicle collision in the vicinity of West 44th Street and 11th Avenue. That's where the car came to rest. Within the confines of the Midtown North Precinct, upon arrival, officers observed a 33-year-old male operator and sole occupant of a 2014 Porsche Gemballa Mirage GT conscious and alert. Further investigation revealed that the operator of Vehicle 1, that's his car, struck the rear of an parked and unoccupied vehicle number 2, that was the minivan, and fled southbound on 11th Avenue in his Porsche. The motorist proceeded to strike vehicles 3, 4, and 5 that were also parked and unoccupied in the vicinity of West 44th Street, where his vehicle came to a rest. The suspect was taken into custody at the scene. The following individual was arrested and charged with the above incident: Benjamin Chen, 33-year-old male. The NYPD arrest report, which states that Chen was the driver and was arrested for reckless driving and operating a motor vehicle impaired by drugs. So there you have it. No further speculation. That is the official arrest report as far as what took place, or at least what he was charged with. And we got to say, like this is worth watching, but luckily nobody got hurt. Usually Manhattan at 7:38 in the morning, sidewalks are filled with people going to work. This wouldn't have happened. There is no empty crosswalks. Even on a red light, you have the people walking across. So that whole mess, he is very lucky that this transpired on this day. This guy was like, I mean, you're talking straight leaving Las Vegas. Now, I am not going to pretend I'm friends with this guy. I know him. I've met him a couple of times, but just we're not that friendly. I took issue, and as time has proven us wrong, he was a guy who bought a Koenigsegg and said this thing is a piece of crap, and I'm like, wait, that goes against everything everybody else has ever said about a Koenigsegg. So Koenigsegg took the car back, but through the lens of time, you now see that that guy was just lip service. Now this guy's crashed at least 6 like high-end cars that I know of. I know he rolled over the one McLaren rental car in one of the Gold Rush rallies, and then this most recent year on the Gold Rush rally, which he was an owner of. He's no longer an owner of the Gold Rush rally, and that's not a PR move. He had serious issues. And I think this guy's got some drug problems that he's got. He needs treatment, he needs rehab, and he needs a psychiatrist, because money is not the issue. The guy has plenty of that. And you talk to anyone that knows him, was like, oh yeah, that guy's got a lot of money. But that's sort of where it stops. Everything beyond that, I think he's got to reevaluate his life. And when he gets all this sorted and behind him, he should really take a second look at ever getting behind the wheel of a car again, because he crashes them in fine order. He's rolled a McLaren a couple of times, landed in the barn in Texas, or a self-storage unit that was like 600 feet from the road. I don't know the exact distances, but he was moving good. And then this year at the Gold Rush launch, I was down there in Miami, and they had the road shut down, because Gold Rush, they've got, so everybody can leave at the same time, they have the police shut down the road. So one way coming up on Washington Collins, I don't remember what it was, but right outside the Fontainebleau, this guy ends up like missing all the festivities in the morning because he was, I'm assuming, on drugs or drunk. I've got no proof because I wasn't there, but his actions for the remainder of the day sort of support that. Comes driving against traffic as these guys are like doing burnouts or whatever, like to leave and putting on the show for the crowd. This guy's driving, whoa, holy crap, we almost had a head-on collision because this guy's driving the wrong way. What is going on? This guy's going the wrong way down a one-way. pulls into the parking lot, gets in his CLK DTM GTR, and fast forward, I think it was that day, crashed it. And he like picks a fight with somebody who was like a really good guy. Like, I've got no doubt that that guy didn't start anything or didn't do anything, but that was like, this guy's out of control. Like, somebody's got to do something about this guy. And that was the end of his involvement as far as I'm concerned with Gold Rush. I spoke to the owner of Gold Rush, so he's like, yeah, it was in the paper. Everyone's like talking like he's got something to do with Gold Rush. And this has got nothing to do with PR moves. He hasn't had anything to do with Gold Rush since the last Gold Rush. He's got no ownership, no whatever. You gotta say it how it is. So, but he's got some serious issues here. And the fact that he was released now and like just right back to where he's going, I don't know what to tell you about this guy. This was beyond, and it's great for videos and it's great to send to your buddies, like, check this out. But it's just like really lucky people didn't get hurt here. If this was done in any other time, I mean, just missing that key like mental block to be like, I'm totally lit on drugs, let me go jump in a 700 horsepower car and go rip around. That's a problem. And I mean, as I said, I know of at least like 5 big dollar cars that he's crashed significantly. Maybe he'd be better off riding shotgun from here on out. So I wish the guy well. I hope he does seek treatment. I hope he can sort of turn his life around. But to say that this could be the eye-opening moment, I feel like he's had a bunch of them. And he just keeps plugging away. So hopefully nobody else gets hurt. And we can go about life just looking at this. It's like, do you remember that time that car crashed in Manhattan? That was wild, wasn't it? Well, you're right. It was. Now, let me just point out, and this is probably the biggest takeaway you could take from the video. If you find yourself in a situation where somebody's out of control or crashing or doing anything that you think would be newsworthy or worth sharing on the internet, get your phone out, and this is where it gets very important. Open your camera, turn it sideways. It's not, don't even think, just make it, this isn't for you, this is for everybody else, because it's not about, the world doesn't care about TikTok or Instagram. The world needs horizontal video. All right, so that's the real problem we had with this one. Nobody was hurt. This guy has a litany of charges. Who knows, maybe he's rich and he'll just go about his life and the charges will be dropped. Hopefully at some point in time he does get that slap on the wrist that gives him the reality check that gets him to turn things around. But again, make sure you shoot horizontal video if you ever roll up on anything like this. Rob Ferretti, thanks for watching. So you guys are familiar with my other company, Adventure Drives, right? Well, this year we've got 2 trips coming up. One which is starting in Seattle and ending in Jackson Hole in July. That's going up through the Canadian Rockies, coming down through Banff, Yellowstone, Glacier National Park, and Grand Teton National Park. It's going to be phenomenal. Also, we're going to be going to Scotland in October. We're going to be doing Scotch distilleries, playing golf at St. Andrews if you want to do that, walking around, seeing lakes, waterfalls, driving the North Coast. It's going to be an amazing trip. Prices start as low as $2,500 per person for the shorter trip in Scotland, about double that for the longer trip in July. If you're interested in going, check out the link in the description.